Welcome back, you guys. Hadn't got a whole lot going on. It's kind of slowed down here. The end of the year. Doing some deer hunting and things, and just kind of taking it easy. Um, right here toward the end of the year, and I figured I would do maybe a little bit of a pocket dump. It's kind of the same thing, but I do have a new knife to show you guys, and of course that'll come right here in just a minute. So today's carry gonna be, I don't know how well y'all can see that. That's a kissing crane. I think those are called the brown mule. It's pretty old. It's probably late 90s, early 2000s, I guess, somewhere right in there. And I was listening to Scab the other day, and he was talking about USA made knives and being able to afford them. And that kind of got me thinking, this knife right here, I think, is a German made knife. Now I may be wrong. I've tried to do some research on this thing, and I have come up empty handed because, for one, the only thing that you can see on there, well, you may be able to see it, are the cranes. And the brown mules have, it actually has brown mule printed on there, and there's like a wagon wheel and some stuff on there. And that other particular knife that I've been looking at is stainless steel. I'm assuming that this one is carbon steel. And I only say that because of the patina that it has on it. I know y'all probably can't see that real well. Of course, I'll bring you over here at the workbench and show you here in just a minute. I get done with my pocket dump. But back to my other thing. Scab was talking about American-made knives and being able to afford them and being decent, And what he said made a whole lot of sense. These people that spend a small fortune on knives. I'm of the working class. I can't do that. I have a young family as well, and it's just not in the cards. But I will say, and I knock on this company a lot, just because of the the way everything is. But my old trusty Gerber here, that Air Ranger, I believe it's 7 CR or 7 MOV something, 17 MOV. I can't remember the numbers on that. But guys, that's a pretty decent knife. I've used this one for a while, and it's tough. It gets the job done. It's not American made, but it's cheap enough that anybody can buy. And I commend Gerber for doing that. Now, they do have some more expensive knives, but for just an everyday carry, there's nothing absolutely wrong with this. That's just my personal opinion. Now, the other thing that I have been carrying around, and of course I've got keys and stuff, but I ain't gonna show you all that. The other thing that I have been carrying around is this, the pry bird. It's got the green G10 on the outside. It has the razor blade in the middle, that you can replace and kind of do different things with that. And it's simple. The idea is that my place of work hands out or gives out these blades, not these blades, but they have to have a certain tip and end on them. But you can get these anywhere. You can get the blades and replace those anywhere, at any time for any reason. And you can even get, I think I've got you can get a pack of these where there's 50 made in the USA, made in the USA. It's probably backwards. But there's Stanley blades. There's you an American made knife, You can put it in a cheap Chinese Gerber and you can have you a pretty decent knife. Now, the only thing that I found that I don't like is kind of the squareness of it. I mean, it's just a box. It's like a rectangle. But otherwise, it's been a really good knife. And for the most part, it's been really tough. It does everything I ask it to do. And, well, I don't know that it was relatively cheap. I mean, I bought it full price at like $30, but it's all the same. Now the brown mule, I've seen these going for anywhere from like $10 to I think now they're probably $18, $19, I think. But they're not made like this one. This one is pretty old. And which I got this whenever I was a young lad. And but I'll bring y'all around here and show you this knife. Alright, you guys, well, y'all have to ignore my mess in the background. I mean, that's just kind of how I roll out here in the shop. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it gets the job done. Now, the one thing I have noticed is that these are separating right here. And I don't use this knife at all anymore. I used to. My grandmother gave this to me, and she's dead and gone, and that's about the only thing that's I've got left that she gave to me, and I want to hold on to it for a little while longer. And but y'all can see the cranes down in there, and like I said, I don't know anything more about this. I have tried to look it up and look at it and look at it, but I have come up kind of empty-handed on that thing, because like I said, that was probably 20 years ago at least. It kind of has a half stop, but listen to this, y'all. That's pretty fantastic. It's brass, stainless, or I'm assuming stainless, and 2 brass pins. You know, this is a simple sod buster. Um, you know, it's open, close, relatively sharp, and you know, it's cheap. It's not American made, but it's been a really good pocket knife. Now, moving on to the Gerber. Of course, y'all have seen this one before. I wanted to give this one a fair shake. It's pretty dull right now. It probably wouldn't cut paper, but I have used this thing, and it's finally just now to the point where it kind of needs something. But overall, you know, that thing's been a pretty fantastic little knife. I like the aluminum handle, fits the hand real good. I like the dark color on the blade versus the red. You know, that combination looks pretty good. Plus, you got some jimping here. Makes it a pretty decent little knife. It's put together with star head screws. And I like that it's heavy duty right here, because this is a point of failure for me. If I don't carry a regular pocket knife, these generally tend to strip out if there's only two in there. Sorry, y'all, I've had pneumonia this week, and I like the fact that there's three there. And like I said, this pry bird, this is my handout knife. Of course, it's Gerber too. You can tell it's a Gerber. That's kind of what I've been, you know, passing out to people, because Lord knows people don't know how to use a pocket knife nowadays. And if they do, they tear it all to pieces. They ruin the blades and all this other stuff, and you're left with a really dull pocket knife. And that's just kind of the way I feel about that. So I keep that in my pocket just to pass out to other people. Let's see if I got anything else back here. Yeah, I've got my horseshoe knife that I've got to finish up, and kind of like a reverse crambit I'm working on. But like I said, right now there's not a whole lot I can do right now, so that's just kind of is what it is. All right, you guys. Well, I want to end this video with kind of some words, or a word comes from the Bible, and of course I have it written down over here. So if you see me look across, I'm kind of old school. I like to write everything down, and you know, this comes from friendship, and it comes from 1 Thessalonians 5:11. Therefore, encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact you are doing. So Paul was a writer of Thessalonians, of course, and with that particular verse, he's telling us not to take comfort, but to give comfort. And is it also, there was two words used for encourage, and which I like to either one, because they stand for different meanings or different things. Of course, encourage is the same thing. Edify, which I'm not sure which version that comes from, because I use NIV, and but edify means to build up too. You know, our priorities, whenever they come full circle, is to build other Christians and non-Christians up. Um, the whole idea that Paul was trying to get across here was that he wanted everybody to participate in this, to be active, and to not only take it, the encouragement, but to give encouragement. And of course, the last part of that verse, which is just as in fact you are doing, is just as simple as that. We had to keep going and keep doing. And what they were doing then was the start of the church. And they needed a lot of encouragement from everybody. Paul had done a really good job at writing to the different churches and places and doing all the things that Paul done in the New Testament just because of this right here. To be friends with everybody, to encourage everybody, to do the right thing for not only the church's sake and Jesus, because Jesus' sacrifice, that wouldn't go to the wayside. Because if you're a lone wolf in the church and you don't try to do other things and encourage other people, and you don't take encouragement well, that's not a good place to be. Friendship is the main thing that he wanted everybody to have. And it's pretty easy to encourage everybody. The main goal for Christians telling other people is to encourage them to give their life to Christ, to Jesus. And whether or not you do that is determining, not determining, but it helps others come to Christ, with the encouragement and the other things. If you preach or teach hellfire and brimstone all the time and scare everybody, the encouragement that comes later is not as well taken. So if you start with encouragement, that's the main thing, is to encourage others and be friends with other people and tell others about Christ. And that's Paul's message. With that one verse, it's pretty simple. But I'm going to leave y'all with that. And remember, live life outdoors. God bless.